This is episode 76 of the Hybrid Coaching Podcast. In this episode, we're going to talk about best practices and standard operating procedures of what you should do before your Hyrox race. And then we're going to dive into the race that happened this past weekend, Hyrox Chicago, and talk a little bit about the other race in Dublin as well. Let's make hybrid fitness work for you. How's it going today, JK?
That was good. I'm well. Thank you, Anthony. That was a good one. How are you going, mate?
I'm good.
You got me by surprise.
Back from Chicago, gone through the week.
Yeah, man.
Back is feeling a little bit better right now.
Did you
Still not
explain
good.
your back last week? Did
Did
you?
I don't know.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'll go over that. Not Sunday, last Sunday, not this past Sunday in Chicago, but the Sunday before that, I ended up hurting my back. The way it goes is I had back surgery in 2019. It was a microdiscectomy on my L4, L5, and L5S1. Had a severe herniation. Basically, when it was described to me at the time, is like all your discs, simplest explanation, it's more complex, but all your discs are basically separate entities inside your body. They don't have innervations and they don't have a lot of capillaries to them, so they don't heal real well. But they're like a bunch of jelly donuts. And when you squeeze the jelly out of one of them, you can't put it back in, right? And it squeezed all out. It was classified as severe disc herniation. So there's like classifications depending on how far out the extrusion goes. My extrusion went 13 millimeters into my spinal canal, spinal
That's
column,
that's big.
pinched off.
That's a big, yeah.
Yeah, so completely pinched off the nerve, sciatic nerve going down my left leg. And even to this day, I still have numbness, neuropathy down in my left foot. So the two toes on the end of my left foot are numb. Sometimes, basically all the time, it feels like I'm running on a pebble in my shoe. Anyway, I've
Mm.
been training a lot, and I just was kind of silly. It was great, but it was like I said, last Sunday I did a workout. It was 3 rounds of 10 ground overhead, just with 95 pounds. So like, what is that? 43 kilos. Uh, so it
Yeah.
was 10 reps of ground to overhead and then a 200-yard shuttle run. And it was supposed to be like 50 yards down, 50 yards back, 50 yards down, 50 yards back. But I only had 25 yards. So I did 8 sets of 25. So I'd go down, back, down, back. Really short workout. Like I was thinking I could finish in 4 minutes. I think it took me like 4:20 something. Just quick. But what I had done is it was just me and Lily and the dogs, and I was doing this outside at home. And I set up my barbell, and Lily wanted her barbell, so I put her barbell out on the turf in front of me, and then I was gonna run, right? Well, when I started the workout, she also was very cute. She grabbed her own barbell and put it up over her head, but obviously she's not doing the same number of reps. But she was like, you know how line of sight when you're lifting, you want to be straight on to
Yeah.
things. I know when like my back erectors, if I'm not in a good position, I'm very, very susceptible to SI joint sprains, just like the weakened musculature around that area of my back. And I've done different things to improve it. But if I'm ever lax, like I've been lax recently, if I'm ever lax with it, like man, it can happen and it hurts. And it's just a lasting hurt, usually a couple weeks. I'm in week 2 of it right now, but she ran, she used her barbell a little bit and then she ran because daddy was running. And then she used her barbell and was like trying to mimic almost exactly the workout I was doing.
Yeah.
But me, I'm trying to cycle these. So I'm snatching for the first two rounds and like close grip, snatch pressing the last two rounds or the last round. And I'm watching her. So I keep my eye on her, but she's a little bit off center. So I keep my eye. And as I'm doing it, she starts to run. So like I twist as I'm still lifting. So I'm still doing the
Oh,
movement. I'm still lifting, but I'm like twisted watching her to make sure she's not coming near my barbell. So I can like stop or put the barbell down if she ever comes like within 5 feet of or 10 feet of me, whatever it is, you know? And so it's just bad position, really bad position. It's like twisting while you're deadlifting, just not smart thing to do. And
yeah. Yeah.
finished the workout and
Yeah.
I knew I was like, ah, gosh dang it. Like something didn't feel right. Immediately felt weakness.
Mm.
Um, and went on and still did the second workout I was planning on doing, which was something called Dirty 30, which is basically a CrossFit
Okay.
workout that's filthy 50, except for I do 30 reps instead of 50 of everything.
Yeah.
Um, Still did that, has a lot of jumping in it. Probably wasn't the best thing to do. Uh, Went on with like my running the next day. I was like, yeah, I'm done. I haven't
Okay.
ran. This is week two of no running now, but I've tried to force myself to be consistent. So I've spent many hours on the Concept 2 bike, uh,
Yeah.
doing the stair stepper we have and going for ruck walks. Uh, and then just yesterday, or while we were in Chicago, I would walk around just pushing the stroller. And then just yesterday, I did just a body weight workout, something I knew I could handle. It's an old open workout, and it's starting to feel a little bit better. So I'll get through
Yeah.
this week, finishing it off, and then maybe I'll start maybe this weekend, maybe sometime next week, I'll start trying to run again.
Yeah.
Just be past it. I really like to make sure that it's gone before I re-aggravate it.
Yeah. Especially if you've had bad back issues in the past, mate, you're gonna have to like if you came back too soon, you just don't want to aggravate it even more, right?
Yeah,
Um,
it creates so many problems.
yeah.
And I don't know if anybody out there has ever had back issues, but it's debilitating. Like I do, JK, we have a couple topics we've been wanting to talk about now, and one of
Yeah.
them is what I've called for a long time because I mean I was relatively healthy, not getting hurt for a while, and then all of a sudden in college I had started to get hurt. And from then, like this concept of working wounded, uh, I've just held on to for, I mean, I'm 37 years old now, so I've held on to it for over 15 years.
Mm. Cool
This,
topic though, right? Because I think like as we age, I'm not saying you here, as we age here, Anthony, I think like not everyone, but like there'd be a lot of people out there that are walking wounded to some degree, right? So that'd be cool. Um,
yeah, and what I mean by that, guys, is it doesn't mean that, if I broke my left arm, it doesn't mean I can't work my right arm, like, and or work my legs. And
yeah,
what really is really hard is people lose the idea of when you injure your core or that middle portion, it doesn't mean you can't do something with your legs still. It doesn't mean you can't do something with your arms or
correct.
in other places. You build everything around it so that the support structure maintains. Now, the core is very difficult, but it still is a crucial piece to build around the core.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
and I've dealt with this multiple times. Like ever since I stopped wrestling, actually, I had bulging discs and then I've herniated discs in my back 3 different times and only one of them required surgery. But it's getting to the point where like, I don't want to be 90 years old with numb legs, not able to walk around.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
taking care of health priority first and then going from there.
I've always wanted to ask Lauren that obviously because I follow her and follow obviously you guys and like we see. I see Lily partaking or being so involved, let's just put it that way, in Lauren's training and day-to-day like life, I guess. You guys are doing two things at once whilst you train. You're trying to make sure that everything is safe, probably is the first thing that goes in your head, of course, because your little girl is running around pretty much trying to mimic mummy and daddy. And then also you're trying to get the most out of the workout as well. Um, I've like had a look at Lauren's few stories here and there, and I actually think about it to the degree of like, okay, like I wonder what she's actually thinking when she's doing this right now, knowing that Lily is right beside her and she's got to keep a little eye on her as well, but also she's in the pain cave as well. I've found it very interesting to watch.
She'd appreciate that question, but just for reference, like you don't do one, you go into the workouts always knowing like if she comes near, I stop. Like you don't ever risk any safety. So it's
Yeah, yeah,
if she's
always.
nearby, like if she's nearby, or you always know you're aware of where she's at before you ever lift. And if she runs or in front of you, you always use a weight that you'll always control, and two, you always use you're always aware of where she is,
Yeah, yeah.
and you're never like no workout is more important than her safety,
No,
ever.
and I know, yeah.
So it's like if you're doing kettlebell swings, that's actually one of them. Kettlebell swings and double unders actually are ones that are like, okay, that's the only time I'm gonna make sure she's really not around because if she tries to run, like one, she'll get whipped by the
True.
rope or like a
Yeah,
kettlebell swinging in front of her. So those are things like you really make sure she's not around, or you make sure that like you always keep an eye on her, so you're always facing her because you can stop that weight.
yeah,
Um,
correct.
Again, though, like nothing is so intense either. Like everything's easy. When I say that, like I really mean you're just moving through the workouts. And this was actually a point that was brought up in our community group chat this week, yesterday or the day before. One of the guys was asking about like overtraining and something. Guys, overtraining, and JK, you can attest to this, is not a symptom of volume. Overtraining is a symptom of it is a caused by intensity. So too much intensity in that, not a symptom of too much volume, right?
Do you honestly think that, like, just quickly on that, right? Intensity, not volume. Do you think there's a point though? Do you think there is a point that, like, if you do ridiculous,
But
like, I mean, ridiculous amount of volume at a lower intense, that you could still overtrain?
what's a different what's a and now what's in a ridiculous amount of volume? Now you got to remember too, like you can only train to your limits and you can train to what you can recover to. Like this is a harsh word, but like there's stupid amounts of things to do. Like if you're trying to do the most kettlebell swings ever in a 24-hour period and you've never exceeded 200 kettlebell swings in a session, like that's rhabdo. That's necrosis of the muscle. Like that is not a smart thing to do.
Yeah.
That's not appropriate volume, and that's also a restrictive movement or like load-based movement, right? So there's limits to things like that. If you're asking me, well, what if somebody just rides a bike for sitting at their desk for 24 hours? Yeah, like they just sit there and pedal, like they could move, you know? That's
Yeah.
not gonna wreck them. And depending on how low that intensity is, they could go until they can't.
Mm. Yeah.
So it depends on what the movement is, how much resistance, like resistance movement it is, and it depends on your ability at that level, right? Like
Mm.
if you're talking somebody severely overweight, then 15 minutes of pedaling at their desk might jack their heart rate up into zone three, even if they're
Mm.
just barely moving. Because their legs are heavier, they move, their muscles aren't as developed, like all that kind of stuff. Now,
Mm.
if you're talking somebody fit, JK, if I put a desk pedal on you or something, you could move the entire day at all times, and
Yeah.
you would still be low. Like your heart rate might be 4 or 5 beats above resting just
Hmm.
because that's not an intense movement. We start to add
Mm.
intensity to it, you could probably stay in zone one for a very, very long time.
Yeah,
And as you actually would fatigue, there'd come a point where you'd see that heart rate drift and you would drift up into zone two. And then it'd become like, okay, now you're taxing yourself. And at this point, your intensity is higher than you're able to sustain.
correct. Yeah, 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 yeah. We get that question a lot. And also, I've also thought about from the perspective of look at other things that potentially might have caused your intensity to go up in certain workouts without you actually doing much else. And what I mean by that is like we're changing right now into over here in Australia, it's summer. It's hotter. Um, and that's something that I've reflected on. Like it just naturally is 5 degrees warmer each day, and what actually impact has that had on my training and everyone else's training? So those little things, right? They're little things, but um, can definitely play a role with like your session. But as you just said, like it's to do with your recovery or lack of, or yeah, your recovery after sessions, or if you can recover afterwards or you can't. So
Yep.
yeah.
Uh, all right. So on the docket today, guys, after that is we want to talk a little bit about just where everything's at in the world of Hyrox right now. We want to talk about Hyrox Chicago review. So we're going to review what went on this weekend when the last two races, Chicago and Dublin. And I don't know, JK, do you know the answer to this? I thought the races this weekend, which, by the way, this weekend, I think it might be the first weekend. There are 5 races happening this weekend. Um,
Wow.
it is quite the weekend.
What
Uh,
rate? Can you
oh,
name them?
gosh dang it, I got it wrong. That's next weekend. Uh,
Next weekend.
Next weekend. The following weekend is 5 races. One of the that's it. That's got to be I think 4 was the biggest we've ever seen so far. So this weekend it's Hyrox Bordeaux, Hyrox Dallas, and Hyrox Shanghai.
Yep.
Right. Um, so there's some big names going to Dallas, and then the following weekend, there's 5 races happening. You got Madrid, Utrecht, Rio de Janeiro, Singapore, and Johannesburg.
Wow. That's
Um,
crazy.
so
Who's
anyway,
racing in who's racing in Dallas?
so Dallas, Lauren Griffith is racing. Uh, Camilla Massa is racing. There's a few other women. I'm sorry, I don't remember off the top of my head, and I don't have it pulled up
Yeah.
readily. I know there's quite a few men going, including Jack Driscoll, who just got third in Chicago, and then Hunter and Jake Williamson are teaming up for a doubles in Dallas.
Oh, cool.
Um, so we'll see
Nice.
what they throw down. But so Dallas will be a big one. And then, so I want to talk about the races that happened this past weekend. But because of all these big races coming up, I want to talk about how to approach a high rocks, whether it's for your first time or just what are the best practices in approaching a race. So you get to the venue, what should you do? Like how do you scout a course? All those types of things that you do at a venue. And because just my experience being there this past weekend, I noticed a lot of people. I talked to a couple people, they never went out onto the course before they raced. They never went to the spectator area and looked at it. They were like, "Oh, I studied the map." And that's great. Like studying the map is definitely something you should do. But I want to talk about like what's the pace of the day? How should you approach the race and your race day and your weekend in general?
Yep. I like it.
So And if we have time, JK, I messaged this to you, but this is going to be an upcoming a topic, whether we do it today, next week, or the following week. I when I sit on the bike, I have time to twiddle my thumbs on the phone as I'm biking. And I've been writing a lot of notes. And I sent them to you yesterday about notes on muscular endurance and things like that. So we'll talk about the muscular endurance piece, whether we break it up or talk specifically about it uh, in a different episode. And we still have quite a few listener questions right now. If I just pull it up, we have one, two, three, four, five, six, seven just sitting here.
Yep.
So, all right, what do you want to start with?
Let's go to Chicago.
All
Chicago,
right. So, races this weekend. There was two races. One was in Chicago, one was in Dublin. So just real quick, Dublin, saw some good times. We'll start with the women's pro there. You saw Melanie Marr get a 60:38, which is a PR. Kat Parnell, 60:54, and Manuela Garcia Camparos with a 101:10. Those are all great times, and those all, at least one of those times, are all within the women's Elite 15 qualifying times, which for Melbourne right now, the women's Elite 15 qualifying cutoff is 101.22. So
wow.
you need two times under 101.22,
It's
which
fast
is
now,
just,
isn't it?
it's getting fast.
Yeah, very fast.
And we'll talk about that because I do want to talk about like how they're closing the gap. Like the top is the top, but closing the gap for sure.
Hmm.
And I think we talked about this last year when we talked about, I don't know if it was on here or if I had talked about it with Rock's Life, that the the peak with Greg from Rock's Life, the peak people, like once you get to a certain point, it's harder to gain time from that point on, right? But everybody
Mm.
else can start to push themselves towards that like peak potential. And yeah, you guys are getting close and close. Like obviously Ron Hunter and you and Dylan, like you guys have these top times that are just like astronomically fast, right? They're all within like 15 seconds of each other. There's the
Mm.
like the men's four peak times are all within like 15 seconds of each other. But the the women's times are a little more spread out. But like the rest of the field, we're starting to see like that sub 56, that sub 55 being really, really important. And it's not that like, oh, these courses are fast. No, people are getting faster. The top of the
Yeah,
sport is still the top of the sport. It's just everybody's getting closer to them because it's harder to get more from this area than it is to get from that big bulk area, you know?
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Uh, all right, so after Dublin, the men, we saw another sub 55 time. We saw a 54:58 out of Martine Inthoven, a 55:19 out of Alan Plo, and a 55:57 out of Sean Noble. That for for Melbourne, which this is what I was going to ask earlier. Is the Melbourne cutoff, was it this past weekend, or do these races coming up this weekend, the Bordeaux, Dallas, and Shanghai one, do they
I,
count towards Melbourne?
I heard. I've got a feeling, but I've got a feeling this weekend counts.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
Well, then I heard
that's
like people saying that it wasn't. So I don't know, but that's, I mean, it is what it is, you know.
yeah.
They'll cut it off when they cut it off. Uh, but that puts Alan Plo just outside number 16, and he'll get a roll down spot. He's half a second behind Jake Dearden. So he'll
Wow.
get a roll down spot for sure because we already know that there are at least four men that are not attending.
Yep, yep.
And I think there's actually more. I think we counted, I think there's like five or six or something in the
Five
top
or even
20. So,
six. Yeah,
um,
yeah.
all right. And then same thing for the women. Um, we'll review after it's finalized, like the Melbourne people. Maybe that's what we'll do next week, is we'll do like a Melbourne preview because we might
Hmm.
have a special guest next week.
Yep.
Um, all right. So that was Dublin. I don't know anything about it, you know, like people ran some good times, and we'll get into like why I think maybe you think the times are quick like that and what the biggest factor in those times are.
Yep.
Um, going on to Chicago, we'll start with the men. Cole Learn won with a 54:36. I think it's like 50 seconds faster than his PR. So awesome job.
Dang, yeah.
Grayson Kilgore, 55:33, and then Jack Driscoll, 56:23. So some quick guys there, doing a real
Yep.
good job. So Jack and Grayson, actually probably, yeah, Jack and Grayson, Cole for sure. Cole's in now for Melbourne, while Jack and Grayson have at least one time that they can build off of for getting closer to that Elite 15 spot. Whether they
Yep.
try to get into Phoenix, they probably are definitely in for their regional now, though, in the
Yeah.
US.
Yep.
Um, and then on the women's side, Lauren, she won with a 58:12. Gabrielle Nakor Baker, 60:54, and Brooklyn Nichols, 61:05. Brooklyn ran from the second heat and did not have a pro card. So, guys, this is important. Like,
Wow.
she put down an Elite 15 time, something that would have been a good qualifying time, but didn't have a pro card, so that won't count. So that's why it's important that if you think you have the ability to get a pro card or get within that top 40, you definitely should be buying one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know that at Chicago, they all got drug tested, everybody that had a pro card. So um, that's why it counts. That's why it's important. So we know that there have been three races that Hyrox has initiated drug testing at. That's important to clarify that the three races Hyrox has instituted drug testing now has been Stuttgart, Seoul, and Chicago.
Yes, sir. Yep. Which is great.
Um, which, hey, good on them. That's fantastic. They're making sure that like people aren't, I guess, yeah, cheating their way into the Elite 15.
Yeah.
Um, so those times, and I just want to, I'm going to point out, and I know she's my wife, so I'm going to point this out and just keep talking about it. Lauren ran a 58:12. Hyrox, I'm very excited to say, has updated the all-time ranking list.
Oh, have
So you can
they?
actually see the all-time ranking list now on Hyrox website. Her Chicago time was the fifth fastest time ever ran by a female.
Wow.
It must have by some decimal point of a second, tenths or hundredths of a second, beat out the Amsterdam time that she ran. Not head to head because Amsterdam was the added time. So Amsterdam was they added 44 seconds to the women. So she actually crossed the line in Amsterdam at like 57:32 or something like that. And 57:28. But this time, decimal point wise, puts her 58:12. That means that of the top six women's times ever ran in Hyrox, Lauren has four of them.
Top six. Lauren has four of them.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So 58:12 and below.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, any other woman only
I'm
has
having a look at
one.
it now. Yeah. One, two, three, four. Yeah, there you go.
Um, this made me go into math and I was curious. So of the top 21 times, because there have been 21 times that a woman has run under an hour ever in High
Oh, yeah.
Rocks. So
Yep.
21 times, Lauren has eight of them.
There you go.
Um, eight out of the 21, and actually it's eight out of the 19 because it's top 19 times that she's in there. So
And correct me if I'm
that's
wrong,
over one third. What's that?
there's only five girls that have broken the 60,
There are
is it?
five women that have broken an hour. Now, again, that's with the Amsterdam course. Kate Davey technically finished at 59:59, but then they went back and added the time, the 44 seconds. Probably still would have put her over an hour just because it is, but like they added time to probably two of her best stations, the
Yeah.
burpees and the lunges, which I don't think she would have taken 44 seconds to do the extra 10 meters on those.
Mm.
Um, So, but that's the women's overall. So that got me questioning, like, all right, there's five women that have ever run under an hour. They are there's 21 times of them. And so, what is the equivalent for the men? What would be if the women's like time is 1 hour? Uh, and just to show like what this is this the 56 mark? Is breaking 56 the same as an hour? Or is it breaking 55? Is breaking
I
55 the
think it's
same as an hour?
breaking.
Especially because it's becoming more and more prevalent. So the way that I've in the past as well, like JK, I've told you, I've ranked courses and like how fast they seem to be according to everything. And we'll talk about that in just a second. But like the the times, if you handicap a course and then do times, you can see like if people are actually improving what they're doing and how so. And one of the ways to look at that is just as an example, so far in 2023, um, Lauren ran, and I'm just using her as an example because I know her stuff off the top of my head. I think she ran 6 races in 2023, 7 races. Two of them were under 1 hour. In 2024, she ran, I think, 6 races, and I think there was like three of them under an hour, three of them over an hour in 2024.
Yeah,
Um, Maybe that's off. Maybe there's only two of them in 2024. In 2025, she ran so far um, 5 or 6 races. Only one of them has been over an hour, and
yeah,
that was the first one of the year. That was the Las Vegas Major, and we all know like that was hot course, what felt long, right? So
yeah.
there was like that shows a gradual improvement, right? Couple under, more under than over, and then all of a sudden, like almost all of them are consistently under an hour. So that shows a good, consistent improvement over time, and you can get that when you judge courses. So, JK, the men's time that is equivalent to a 1 hour women's time, what would you say it is?
I was, I was like at, I was gonna say breaking the 54, but I do think it's probably breaking the 55 then. Um, if like, I'm sorry, I'm just having a look at the leaderboard right now and see if you have a look at it. There's been 7 times, so 7 races that someone has broken the 54. Um, but there's 5 of us that have done that now. And then if you have a look at breaking the 55,
So, yeah, if you look at the breaking the 55, I think there's 28 times it's happened, but it's like
right?
14 different men or 12 different men or something like that. So
Yeah, yeah,
maybe the equivalent, since the women is only 5 women and 21 times under an
yeah, that's what I
hour,
mean.
is it 54:30? Is that the cutoff? Because you look at 54:30, it's 16 times under 54:30, and one, two, three, four, five, six, 7 men. So that seems pretty
That's
close.
correct. Yeah.
So 54:30 on the men's side is equal to an breaking an hour on the women's.
I think that's probably correct. Or like a little bit more accurate, right? 54:30.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what a 5.5 minute buffer. Um yeah.
And let's
Yeah,
do let's do
that's
quick
interesting.
math. Assuming the guys run a minute faster on the runs in total with run and rock zone, they get um, about 30 seconds on the ski erg and 40 seconds on the rower. We'll just call it 30-30. So that's 2 minutes. Um, they're getting about 30 seconds on the burpees and about 30 seconds on the lunges. Um, so where is the other 2.5 minutes coming from?
I don't even know this, but don't we do the farmer's carry slightly faster as well?
Yeah, about 10 to 15 seconds faster on the
Okay, so
farmer carry.
it's not big,
Um,
yeah.
but the women do
True.
the wall balls about 10 to 15 seconds faster.
They do indeed.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
those two are a wash. So you're really looking at, is it just the sleds? Do the men do the sleds faster?
Probably over like an average, like if we look at the average, probably, I think.
So maybe it's
Um,
just the fastest guys running and the sleds.
yeah,
Um, so maybe
yeah,
most guys are getting 2 minutes on the women in the runs.
yeah, yeah.
So what
That'd be
is
an
2 minutes to
interesting
120
breakdown.
seconds? So
120, yeah, yeah, yeah.
so
But
that's
then
about 15 seconds per kilometer.
I got a feeling the ski and the row could potentially be closer to that 40-second
Yeah,
each as
I
well.
guess that yeah, the top end guys are probably about 40 seconds faster on the ski and row,
Potentially, yeah, for sure. So
35 to 40.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Like just quickly, if you had a look at this 2 years ago, the stats would have been so different. Like 2 years ago, even breaking 56 for a man 2 years ago was like, I don't think 2 years ago maybe the world record was, no, I think Hunter he would have just, it would have, it's almost 2 years ago when he broke the world record with his 53:23. But
Yeah.
and then having a look at the females, there would have only been a handful of times under that 60. Um, so it's just fascinating to see what's going to happen in 2 years' time, like in years to come.
Yeah. Yep. And you got Hunter in Barcelona. That's now the ninth fastest time with a 54:07 from
That's right. That
2023.
was the world record before his Stockholm one, right?
Yeah, and then Stockholm. So the the races, fantastic races. I really liked watching them. They were great. I think it showed a lot of strength from everybody there. It was really good to see a U.S. course just like doing well like that. So that's fantastic.
Yeah, yeah,
And I think the temperature does play a role too in the sleds. Like I think the colder temperature, right? Hard like and you have
yeah,
expansion contraction qualities that make it stickier or smoother depending on the temperature
yeah,
outside. And that variance of a just, 4 or 5 degrees Celsius could be enough.
yeah. Absolutely. 100%. Yeah.
Um, all right. So anything else you want to talk about for Chicago?
No, I don't think so. Um, I guess let's roll into what do you
Let's
call it?
let's talk about best practices
Best
or
practices. Yeah.
like standard operating procedures or something here.
Yeah.
So you're going to your normal pro race. You're getting
Hmm.
in there and you're going to you're going to go to your first one. Um, you're allowed to register or get to the registration to pick up your ticket and everything now 90 minutes before your race. Kind of wish it was 2 hours, would like an extended warm up, but I get 90 minutes, whatever. Do it right at the 90 minutes or slightly sooner if you can. And then you head over to the warm up area. I actually think that shouldn't be the first thing you do. I think if you're going to a race, you arrive there a day or two early if you're able to, right? If you arrive there a day early, or if you arrive the night before a early morning race, you're doing yourself a disservice. Get there, like give yourself some hours with the race course being open. Get there and get inside the venue. Like even if you have to buy a spectator ticket, get inside the venue, cross the crossing area, go bridge or crossing, look at the track from the spectator area, identify. You can hold the map up in front of you. Identify where your stations are at. Where's the in arch? Like look at
Yeah.
what, in on the second or in on the third means in terms of how far you're running. Um, look at where each station is actually placed and look at where the in arches are for each station. Look at where the out area is for each station. It's only 8 stations. You just walk through them, you look at them. So you're like, okay, I go in there, watch somebody, like pick somebody out, see them come in on their first run, Go into the ski erg, watch them ski a little bit, watch people get out of the ski erg, go over to the sled push, watch how they come in from the in arch to get to the sled push, like watch where they're going out at, watch their lanes, watch like how are they pushing, you know?
Yeah.
Um, you can decide whether good lanes or bad lanes, but just watch what they're doing so that you know the pattern of, and even if you're an experienced athlete, you should go in there and look, oh, I'm watching, okay, there's some sled pushes. That's how they're getting in. That's how they're going out. Make it intentional. Go to the sled pull. Oh, they come in this way. They have to run all the way down before they start, and then they do their pulls, and then they run out the other way. Or, oh, I got to watch. There's a 180-degree turn there. So I know I need to like get out quick and get around that. I don't want to
Yeah.
get there with three other people at the same time and then like get into a cluster trying to get out and racing somebody, or somebody picks up the speed to get ahead of me and then slows down and I'm trapped because it's
Mm.
only one person width to get out of this corral area and I'm getting slowed down because of somebody else. Like, don't let that kind of stuff happen. Know and be aware of like how much room you have. Uh,
Mm.
Again, look for the out arch. Know where you're going to go out. Go to the burpees. Know how many turns you have to do on the burpees. Like in Chicago, it was really long lengths, and you kind of had pretty far to move over in order to like start your next set of burpees. So like you do a long length, and then you had to walk like 5 meters over to your next one, and then do it again, and then do it again. Like it was pretty quick or pretty
Mm.
long. And then they go out and then they run around again, watch where they go into the rowers, know like which rowers, which side you're probably going to be on, know your settings you want, know how you get out of the rowers. So you're not like jumping up and being like, do I run back towards the arch or do I run around? Like know where you're going to go. That's so important for everything. In Chicago, the wall balls like were tucked away. You couldn't like it was like, how do I get to them? And then you had to go through the N arch and you go to the wall ball arch and then you run down this like long path that was like a path that the spectators could cross so you like don't get run into them, and then you get to the rig which is between the grandstands. But those are things you should just be looking at before your race, like have an
Yeah.
understanding of it. If you're lucky and you're somewhere like Paris or somewhere that has like the Grand Palais there, or if you have an over like a second story, you can go look down on the race at. Go do that. Take a look at it, and you can study the
Mm.
course map. I did have people tell me in the warm up area, like, yeah, I looked at the course map a bunch. I haven't been out there yet, but I really studied. And it's like that's great. You should do that, but you should also go look at the course itself. Get a feel for it. Then you can go get your registration or just go to bed the next day. But let's do like race day, JK. That's something I find really important to do beforehand is like study the course, know your course, right? Go out on the uh, field of play. Uh, like if you're playing football, whether it's soccer or American football or Australian rules football, you're gonna go out and you're gonna know if it's turf or if it's real grass you're playing on, right?
You're gonna
Like
know, yeah.
you're gonna
Yeah.
you're gonna see which way is the sun facing in terms of like shining into our eyes when we're playing. Which side of the field are we on? Is our side of the field gonna have sun blasting on it while the other side's shaded? Like you need to know these types of things. And so if you're going into it blind, you're just not giving yourself the best opportunity. You should be prepared.
Yeah.
Um,
I blatantly, just stemming on this, Anthony, I blatantly go in and visualize like myself actually running the race from the first run, from the first run all the way up until the last wall ball. So what that means is like I'll just take you through like what I did in Seoul is when I got to Seoul, or sorry, got to the arena. I went into the arena and I actually just walked from the start line, the Red Bull tunnel, and I walked and I visualized, okay, it's 3 laps, it's 2.5 laps in, and then I went to the ski erg, and then I like visualized myself on the ski erg, and then I visualized myself running off the ski erg, and then out, and then did the 3 laps, and then in again, and then went to the sled push even to the point, right? I actually remember doing this where I actually was at the sled push, like watching people do it, and I went 1, 2, 3, 4. I actually did that with my like hands to actually visualize myself doing the 4 lengths. And then I visualized myself running out of the sled push and then running out of the out arch, etc., etc. And I pretty much did that all the way until the wobbles. Now, I am the biggest believer of owning your own race and not necessarily getting to points where you feel as if you could potentially blame a judge or blame Hyrox for not understanding where to go. And I've seen that hands down. Like you see you somewhat can see it in elite races sometimes when someone like feels as if they should be told where to go. And my response to that is, well, sorry, it's on the athlete. And an example is like the rower situation sometimes. I'm not talking about a specific situation here, but just you see some people jump on their rower, come in, jump on their rower, do the 1,000 meters, jump off, and then they turn to the judge saying, "Where do I run?" You should know that. You should not turn to the judge and go, "Where should I run?" Because you should be doing this visualizing of the course beforehand. I'm a big believer of making sure that you know where to go before needing to turn to the judge, right? But yeah, those things are vital, Anthony. And as you said, the map, we get an email and it's on Instagram these days of the map of every race, which is fantastic. And it's great to visualize. It's great to study it, but it's not enough. It's definitely not enough. And to be honest, you look at the map, you study the map, and then you go into the arena, and there's definitely little things that you could take away from actually being there in the flesh, right? Um,
Absolutely.
one of the biggest things actually I make sure I know before I start my warm up is where the bathroom is as well. That's like actually one of the biggest things is okay, I'm here, I've got my registration, I've got my timing chip. It's an hour before the race, I'm about to warm up. Where's the bathroom? Because if you don't want to stress yourself by needing to go and trying to find it. So that's just a little piece of advice is like get to the arena, find the warm-up area, find the closest bathroom. It'll save you some stress, that's for sure.
Yeah. And they absolutely will. So let's look at um, now day of. Let's talk about the day of the race. What are some best practices when you have a, we'll say, noon race or later? Because those early morning races, like you don't have a lot of options. You know, you got to wake up a couple hours beforehand, get a quick get food in. Make sure you eat the night before those early morning races too. Get through your morning routine as best you can, and then get going towards the warm up so you can race. But what are some best practices when your race is at like 1 o'clock or noon or later, or even in the evening? You know, like the men run at 7 p.m.
Mm. I think like from a preparation point of view is make sure your morning is as normal as possible. So whatever you normally do on a day-to-day basis, try to mimic that. And I'm talking about movement, I'm talking about nutrition. Um, just because it's race day, don't try to change your morning if you have a morning routine. To then make sure that, you do to a degree want to make sure you have more time than less time to get to the arena. Make sure you're actually looking at if you're needing to drive or needing to catch public transport or you're walking. triple check all those options so you know how long it will take. Don't wait till the last minute, right? Um, as much as I try to not be at the arena before I need to, before a race, um, I always think to myself, more time is better than not enough time. Um,
Yes.
because then you're not worried about time then. So just understanding, and working backwards is probably the worst, sorry, the best thing to do. And what that means is, let's just say you have a 1 p.m. race, work backwards. Okay, I want to be at the arena at 11:30. Or sorry, I want to finish my warm up at 12:45. That means I want to make sure that I can go to the bathroom a little bit earlier than that. I've done my warm up. Okay, I need to start my warm up at 12 or 12:15. I need to be at the arena at 11:30. Work backwards. Make sure you work backwards with your nutrition, but also your transport, as I just suggested. Um, and yeah, like try to not do things that you don't necessarily do on a daily basis. Don't change it just because it's race day.
Yep. I think all that's right. I would say get to the arena 2 hours before, or plan to be there 2 hours before your start time. Um, get your registration, get your everything in. For those afternoon races, I would also say do your normal morning routine, get your plan and understand your hydration and nutrition during the race, but do some kind of movement. Like, don't make your warm up even be the first thing. Go do a little bit of elliptical or biking or something early morning. It doesn't have to be long, just like 20 minutes. Spin your legs, get your blood flowing,
Yep.
get your fuel, your nutrition, your outfit. Maybe pick out your outfit the night before if uh, you plan it. Like, make sure you have your routine and you stick to it. Don't be sporadic and being like, oh my God, I arrived 30 minutes beforehand and now I can't get in. If you run into an issue, you don't leave time for mistakes. It's better to be there and wait there than it is to show up late and not be able to get your warm up in at all, or like have a really abbreviated warm up, all those kinds of things. So really pay attention. And I really like what you said about knowing where the bathroom's at,
Yeah.
knowing where the bathroom's at, and knowing if there's a line consistently to the bathroom and how long that line will take you to get
Yeah.
into the restroom,
It's
know
so
where the
important.
bag drop is. That's important.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah. Little things like that play a big role on race day. Just understanding uh the time um with those respective things. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So really, guys, it's about making life as easy as you can for yourself.
That's it. That's it. Yeah. You want to make sure that that all this, yeah, um, try to minimize as much stress as possible,
Yeah,
any stress whatsoever, um, so that you can try to be as relaxed as possible leading into your race, of course. And yeah, that's it.
absolutely. All right. Is there anything else you wanted to add to like best practices? You do your warm up. I think we've talked about warm ups on here before, but basically, guys, start your warm up with something, long and easy, whether you're on the bike, light jog, something, get your blood moving. After that, you kind of want to go into some dynamic stuff. So, like, do a couple jumps. You don't have to touch any of the equipment. So you don't have to go touch the sleds. You don't have to go do burpees. You don't have to do lunges, things like that. You can do um, some dynamic stretching, high knees, butt kickers, high kicks, step backs, world's greatest stretch, things like that. Like some dynamic hip opening, make sure you move through your range of motions, and then do a couple sprints, whether they're stride sprints, running either on the treadmill or in a place you can do them, or if they are on the ski erg or the rower, like little
Yeah,
striding sprints like that.
yeah. I always think in my personal opinion, there's races that I've been to that people are in the warm up area pretty much doing a Hyrox before the actual Hyrox race. And I think yes, you need to warm up for sure. And Anthony's suggestion there is pretty much on point. But you don't want to expend too much energy as well because within the first kilometer, you're going to be nice and warm, ready to hit that ski, and then the way you go. But you
Yeah, I
don't,
mean, it's like some people warm up and they do the first three things, run, ski, run, before they're about to go run, ski, run in the race.
right? Yeah,
Do like get your blood moving, get moving, do some hip opening stuff for later in the race. But like you don't need to go do a full race. You don't need to go do 50 meters of sled push before you're about to go do 50 meters of sled
no,
push.
correct.
You don't need to like overload the sled before you're about to like hit the 50-yard pole. You don't need to do 25 meters of burpee broad jump.
No,
Like one or two reps is okay. Don't go walk 50 to 100 meters of walking lunges.
you're
Um,
about to do
yeah, you're about
that.
to do that. Like
Yeah,
that, I've seen people do way over warm up, you know, um, and I've seen people way under warm up.
for
There,
sure.
there is a certain point, right? That maybe you should do this, and then make sure you do your last little bathroom break. You don't want to have that put on the course, and they call you to the start line 10 minutes before your start time. All right.
That's
So just
right.
remember, you're going to be sitting in that corral for 10 minutes before you actually start. So if you have to go to the bathroom about 15 to 20 minutes before you start,
Yeah,
depending on the line, because usually there's a line, and
yeah, for
then
sure.
come on out, make sure your bag's checked or with someone safe, and uh, then go to your start line and get ready
Yeah,
to rumble.
yeah, ready to rumble. Make sure you tell your your partner or your loved one that you love them, and then and make sure you're thinking about your coach as well, because without your coach, you wouldn't be there.
I mean, you might not be as prepared. You could still be there.
Yeah.
I don't know, JK. You know what I tell Lauren? I try to yell it across the arena to her before every start line. And
What?
last thing I always say to her before she goes is just, "Good luck. I love you."
That's it. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Just yell to her. Um, yeah. So do you want to get into any of the muscle endurance or ask the listener questions?
I've probably only got about five minutes left. So do we get into it or do we wait till
Let's
next
just go look at the
episode?
listener questions. I was getting actually kind of
Yeah.
curious. I wanted to talk about, um, I don't know if we talked about it a lot, but Lauren's race, I was going to tell you how it went. She did really well, obviously, fifth fastest women's Hyrox time ever ran. So obviously, like, good race. And I originally being there, I did not think it was a fast course. I actually thought the burpees seemed long. And
Right.
as far as running goes, it was like I said, she got stopped a couple times, like or
Yeah.
slowed down with people on the course. And then having to swing wide a few like almost every lap actually at one area. And then one time they released a wave right as she got to it. So there's a giant wave of people as she's
Oh,
trying to run through.
I've
Like
had that. Yeah, before
that's
as
hard.
well.
One thing, I'm waiting for more. I'm waiting for more on this before I actually like show any results here, but just a little reference so far. Because I know there's a lot of talk on if the major races should count or if the pro races should count, like or like courses should count. And it's like, oh, they're only in there because it's easier to stay in once you're in. It's like, no, it's not. There's a lot of turnover, first of all, and we'll do this more, but there's a lot of turnover in the races. But just for example, in Hamburg, 9 of the 30 athletes, it was their first major ever. That's almost 1/3 of the field. How many
Um,
of the, how many of the field does it need to be to not show that like people get in new all the time,
that's true.
right?
Yeah,
And
like
they just they don't. You're not going to beat these established names. Um, Actually, and on that fact, we'll get to it in just a minute. But um, of the women, at least so far, 8 women this year have ran both a major and a pro race. Six of
all.
them,
Sorry.
6 of them
Yeah.
have ran faster in the pro race than in their major race.
Wow, that's a good stat, hey.
Yeah. And on average, their pro race is a minute 47 faster than their major race.
Wow. Interesting.
Is time really the best factor because there's so many factors to go into the time? Like, is it cold? Is it at high altitude, like Mexico City, 7,500 feet or whatever that 2,300 meters, 2,200 meters that it is up in the air? Um,
Yeah,
that all makes a pretty big difference.
yeah,
And so
for sure.
getting a consistent qualifier on that. But as far as Lauren's race goes, I just want to talk about she did so many good things there. Like I said, fifth fastest time ever. She ran really well. Um, she had some really good. Her sleds were good, so she was in terms of how do I get this now? Oh, it's not showing me. In terms of the race itself. She was like 17th on the sled push with a 221 and
Wow.
first on the sled pull with a 335.
Wow.
Um, and then had a good ski, had a good farmers, good lunges at 315. So like a lot of things we've been working on looked really good. She actually stopped. She broke 3 times on the wall balls, had a big set, and then just you bobble the wall ball and you just let it drop instead. So I think she stopped at like 80 reps and then at 90 reps or 89 reps and then again with like 2 reps left or something. So just eliminating 2 of those would be fantastic, right?
Yeah.
So she had
Yeah.
330 on the wall ball. Um, Really good run time. Total run was 32:14 with the rock zone. Um, so
It's funny if I did the wall balls and drop 3 times. It's funny. 330 is probably like a fast wall ball for a male.
it is
Like it's on it's like actually, well, I'll be honest, that's yeah, that's like if you're going sub 330, you're definitely winning the wall balls in an Elite 15 major. Um,
pretty close,
uh,
probably. Yeah.
but for the females, as you just said, if like Laura normally goes unbroken, so that's it's not the fastest time. If I dropped it 3 times, I'd be going closer to 4 minutes for sure, or
Yeah.
even over. Yeah,
Yep.
for sure.
So her run was good. Like I said, 32:14 on the run, which is a 342 average kilometer, which I think the fastest guy was like 32:07 total run. So only like 7 seconds behind Cole or Grayson. Maybe Grayson was like high 31s. So like maybe 20 seconds behind the fastest guy.
Is
But that's
that
a
is that the
5:57 average
sorry,
mile pace.
is that the stat of like run time plus rock zone
Yeah.
divide by 8.7?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think
Uh,
just on that, I just get I I'm very passionate about this topic because you hear of people saying that their average run time was 320 odd. And you're like, No, I'm sorry, but I think I'll be honest, I think like probably the fastest. Well, like I don't know what Alex and Dylan did in Hamburg, but I know for a fact that I think 3:28 is one of the fastest averages I've seen before, with that measurement of rock zone plus your run total divided by 8.7.
Yeah, a lot of people don't include the rock zone. You That's how you should calculate the measurement is you do your run plus your rock zone divided by 8.7.
Yeah.
Uh,
Sure.
I don't know, like I did see somebody out there with a wheel, like measure the course during the live stream portion of the course walkthrough, like that they
Right.
Hyrox America always does. But I don't know exactly what it was. I know somebody, they sent me their data. They went out on the course with a pedometer because GPS doesn't work. So they used a pedometer that's usually pretty right. Um, and they measured obviously with their run path. And when you measure with a wheel, you're measuring the shortest distance. So I'm assuming
Yeah.
the wheel was all courses with the wheel, they measure to 8.7 plus or minus 10 meters. So 8690 to 8710 meters. Um, the guy with the pedometer, he messaged me, he told me what it was. He showed each run was like 0.62 miles to 0.63 miles on his pedometer. He said he was going out wider on like some of the corners and like staying out of the fast lane because he had to go around people, which I know Lauren did a few times. But he also showed like the distance. And I think his total he added up all of his pedometer ones and he split the rock zone and everything. And it came out to like 8.65 miles, which is just over 8,700. But if you're swinging wide a lot, right? Like,
8.6 miles.
or
Sorry, 8.6.
sorry,
6. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
5.65 miles,
Yeah.
which is like 9,000 meters.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm not sure it was that long, because there's difference. So you don't know how accurate a pedometer actually could be.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
cool. Um,
I'm assuming they
yeah,
measured it
good to
correctly
know.
with the wheel.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But really good race. Got a lot of information out of it too, I think. And now it's like getting ready for Melbourne.
Yeah, that's right.
So I
Which
know you gotta go
is technically 3 weeks right now because it's Friday here.
3 weeks from today. It's Thursday for me. Um,
Yeah.
3 weeks from right now. So no, yeah, 1, 2, 3. Yep.
Exciting.
This is exciting. Exciting stuff. What time do they race at 4 The women race at 4 and the men race at 7
Yep, four
on
and
Friday,
seven.
Friday,
Yep.
Saturday.
Dude, that's
Um,
like your 4 p.m. for you. For us is
should be
like
like 11
2
p.m.
a.m. No,
What?
I think it's like 1 a.m. for you.
No, no, no. No, 4 p.m. 4 p.m. would be 10 p.m. for me. You go at
Well,
7 though.
7.
7 would be 1 a.m. for me. Hey, I'll still be up. Don't matter.
Big night for you, Anthony.
Yeah.
It'll be worth it. Don't worry.
2 in a row because you got doubles the next day.
Oh man. Okay. I've got to run. I've got to
Yeah.
run, mate.
We got some good questions, guys. If you have any more, send them our way. We love to answer these questions. We will get to a question episode. I think next week we're going to talk a lot more about the major that's going to be happening in Melbourne. And I hope you guys appreciate it, or not appreciate it, but I hope you guys enjoyed the approach to High Rocks for the first time and best practices. It's just a lot about what I was thinking about and seeing people not do in Chicago that I really think would help if people did.
Definitely. 100%.
And we also have a muscle endurance, like a hard deep dive muscle endurance coaching topic coming up. So we will get that to you guys as well. Thanks for listening, everyone. JK, you want to sign out?
Thanks for listening. Any questions, anything at all, jk.jameskelly on Instagram.
Yep. All right, guys. Thank you. Have a good day. Thank you for listening to the Hybrid Coaching Podcast. If you'd like to reach out and get in contact with us, you can email the Hybrid Coaching Podcast at gmail.com, or you can find us on Instagram either at the Hybrid Engine or at jk.jameskelly. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.